Let's make sure there are no cops behind us. Let's get in a tucked in position. Welcome to the first ride of the Suzuki GSR750A. It is the middleweight naked bike of Suzuki with a lovely inline 4 petrol engine which produces 106 horsepower and 80 newton meters of torque. It's much more torquey than supersport motorcycles, and you do notice the extra bit of torque, especially in street circumstances like this. The increase in torque makes this inline 4 petrol engine a lot more usable compared to the supersport inline 4 petrol engines. And you still have the smoothness of a inline 4. And on this motorcycle you can rev it up to 11,000 RPM. And in any given circumstance, it's more than enough on the street. It's pretty windy today, as you can hear, I guess. And a major complaint of this bike, a major complaint of any or almost any naked bike, is wind protection. Back there I felt a lot of wind pushing me. So wind protection, isn't really optimal on this thing. You do get tossed around of the wind. It's smooth inline 4. 106 horsepower, more than enough power on the street. Even fourth gear, even low down it pulls quite hard. I'm 1 meter 79 centimeters and I can easily flat foot this motorcycle. The upright seating position really makes this bike a lot more comfortable than a supersport motorcycle. But if you do want to get into a more aggressive riding position, you have enough room to get tucked in like this. It's actually a great all-rounder. I mean, you can drive it pretty sporty as well as pretty comfortable. My only complaint is the lack of wind protection. We're now in 6th gear, comfortably idling. I mean, you can do pretty long distances on this thing without any trouble. Maybe if this had a little bit of a larger windscreen on the front here, it would have helped keeping the wind away, because I do feel a lot of wind hitting my chest. and my shoulders. I mean, but on the other hand, side winds aren't that noticeable on this thing. It weighs 200 kilograms empty, which isn't that heavy, but it's much heavier than other bikes. The weight keeps side winds in control, so to say. The extra weight, of course the ABS system, this bike has ABS, the extra weight is noticeable, but because of the upright seating position and much more easier and more user-friendly handling, the extra weight doesn't bother you. It's still fairly easy to ride. And naked bikes are a great all-round package. It's sporty when it needs to be. It's always pretty comfortable. The lack of wind protection, that's a deal breaker for me with these motorcycles. Park the bike somewhere and take a look at its aesthetics. The Suzuki GSR750A in this beautiful blue and white contrasting Suzuki color. Such a lovely color on a Suzuki. It's a 2012 model with a Yoshimura exhaust modification. I'll let you hear it in a bit. This bike has ABS. Yeah, decent, in my opinion it's a pretty decent looking thing. Of course there are more exciting motorcycles than this. Exciting naked bikes, but this color just still makes it stand out. If this bike was in a full black color or something, it would be very boring in my opinion, but nice emblem, shiny emblem. Let's start her up and give you an impression of how the exhaust sounds. This Yoshimura exhaust makes it sound very raw, which isn't typical for a inline 4 petrol engine, but it's a great addition. Makes it not sound like a 2-cylinder, but it has some characteristics of a 2-cylinder engine. It sounds great. Nice passenger seat, but the driver gets a lot of wind on him, and I couldn't imagine how the passenger would feel on this thing. Let's get on the bike again. Wind protection on these open roads weren't very great, but let's still try it on the highway and give it, try a bit more of its performance. But it's very maneuverable. I mean, when it's easy to ride, it's pretty good, great bike. Even though it weighs 200 kilograms empty, it's still very easy to maneuver. And you can place it fairly flat in corners. Great all-round bike. great torque. Lovely torque for a inline 4. Cornering, very great cornering, very capable. Enough cornering potential for any street circumstances. Let's give it a bit of, oh, sounds very raw and nice. Let's wait a bit until this car clears. Great torque. Even a 6th gear, I mean, feels very grunty. I mean, low down it's very capable. Low down is strong, and like any inline 4, it just wants to keep pulling and pulling. I feel a lot of wind on my chest, and if I stay a bit tucked in, it gets better, but still. I mean, I really need a windscreen on this thing, because it's the lack of wind protection just takes away from the driving experience of this thing. But other than that, it's very great. It's easily maneuverable. Great low down torque. I mean, it pulls very good. Even in lower RPMs, just we're at 4,000 RPM, and it pulls. Just lovely. Really lovely. Let me get even on lower RPMs and test the pulling power. Let's see when the 80 Newton meters of torque kick in. We're in 3000 RPM. Oh, it kicks in at, you feel the surge of power kicking in at around 4000 RPM, which is very low for a inline 4. So great low end performance. Yeah, 4000 RPM it is. Yeah, lovely. I mean, it sounds grunty, it sounds raw. One more highway pull. Let's try pulling in 3rd gear. I hope it's not that busy on the road. Let's make sure there are no cops behind us. Let's get in a tucked in position. Yeah, it's very capable. We couldn't even do full throttle there. We did maybe like 80%, but still very capable. Even on higher gears, it's lovely. Third gear. Let's give it full throttle. Yes, it has great pulling power. Let's get off the highway. Great all-round bike. The smoothness of a inline 4 combined with the usability and comfort of a naked bike, of a street bike. It's a nice package. I do recommend a windshield. That's a must-have in my opinion, or else the lack of wind protection is really annoying for me. I have to say that. So then, this was the first ride of the Suzuki GSR750A. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it, and please subscribe for a lot more content about motorcycles and cars. And feel free to comment down below and tell me what you think about this motorcycle. Until the next video, take care, goodbye, and stay safe.